What's good, y'all, and welcome to my review for this week's episode of the 1,000-Year Blood War anime, man. What an episode this was, man. This was a phenomenal episode. Finally, Yoruichi had finally made her triumphant return to the anime, which was great to see. Also, guys, I do also bring you guys some great news. As you guys know, I mentioned this countless times. I've been kind of worried about, like, oh, what's going to happen with Yoruichi's dub VA? Is she going to return as Yoruichi? Is she going to get recast? As you guys know, the dub has had a lot of recasts due to the dub being non-union. I guess a lot of the original voice cast for the Bleach dub are only do union projects these days. So I was wondering what happened with her dub VA Wendon Lee. Well, actually, like a few weeks ago or whatever, on the anime dub subreddit, because I peruse there for a lot more. That's like the one Reddit I'm like really active on, because you know it's anime dubs. You guys all love anime dubs and all that. I feel like dub VAs don't really get their respect. Which, by the way, I watched the dub episode version of. I watched the dub episode drop this week, which was I forget the episode top, but you guys know the episode with Rukia gets her bond comment. I watched that first before watching the actual main episode because I didn't want to get spoiled on anything in case about what happened with the dub and Asna's performance. But so I wanted to watch that first, and I gotta say, bro, shout out to Asna's dub VA, man. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he absolutely killed it, man. Like Kirito, his original Japanese VA, who you guys know voice Kirito, set such a high bar that I didn't think this dude would even be able to get anywhere close to how good it is. But he shocked me, man. He got damn close to the original Japanese performance, man. He did a phenomenal job, which is good to see, man. And not so redemptive, because you guys know that when a lot of people weren't really big on Asna's dub voice during the first core, I was probably one of the few people that were, man. So I was excited to see how they were going to make any changes to it. It just seems like they did, lowering the reverb and everything, man. But he sounded phenomenal, man, with the scream, man. So shout out to him, man. This is apparently like his only like voice acting role, at least according to behind the voice actors, man. He seems to be more of a live action actor, but you know, shout out to him, man. He did an amazing job, man. He just absolutely killed it. Michelle Rubb was amazing as well, man. It was so good to finally hear her say Rukia's bond comment. Just an amazing moment between her and Dan, the voice for Byakuya. You guys will get my reaction to that episode probably tomorrow, so look forward to that, guys. You guys will see my reaction to that scene, because man, I was legitimately shook when the dub got there with Asna, man, but he killed it. So anyway, as I was saying, someone on the anime dub subreddit posted that they had an interview recently with Wendon Lee, and he posted it to like his YouTube channel. He apparently also done like interviews with a bunch of other voice actors as well. And I asked, because I didn't watch the video yet at the time, and I asked, hey, did you mention at all if she's going to be returning for Yoruichi in the Blood War? And he said that yes, she will be once she returns. Now I still haven't watched the actual interview itself, so I don't know if he actually like brought it up as a question while he was interviewing her. Maybe he mentioned that, like, I don't know, like before the recording or after the recording. I probably should have, but it seems that she will be indeed returning as Yoruichi in this episode. This episode does get dubbed. So if any of you guys are worried about if Yoruichi's going to be returning, when Lee's going to be returning as Yoruichi, if she's going to get recast, fear not, it looks like she will be returning as Yoruichi, which is great to see, man, because I love her as Yoruichi. But speaking of the dub, man, there's also one other thing I gotta mention real quick, is that there's actually a line change in this episode that I thought was kind of interesting. Is that, now I found this out because James posted this on his Twitter. He did a little mini thread on this one where Disney seemed to have like changed up some of the lines in this episode and actually had the Seiyu, the Japanese voice actor for Giselle, actually re-record certain lines where in the original Japanese version, when Yamachika and Ikaku run into Giselle, and apparently in the original Japanese version he says, "You reek of semen," or something along those lines, man. Which, first of all, hilarious line, bro. I don't know what it is with Bleach and semen, man, because you guys know, if you guys saw, because there was a twip that kind of went viral of the Bleach stuff from the first episode, man, which I don't know why I took this on for it to go viral, but whatever. With Bambi, the scene where Bambi, killed that dude, which is that at least I kept his mess inside, man. So you got that. You have this scene, man. I don't know what's up with Bleach and semen, man, with the blood war in this core, man. Wow. In the dub, it was, well, not the dub, the Japanese, the Disney version that dropped on Disney Plus as well as Hulu. It was like changed to like that you're desperately trying to hide the fact that you're a man. Something along those lines. I'll leave a link to the thread in the description so you guys can check that out for fully and see the clips for yourself, guys. But I just thought that there was also another line change as well, where Giselle says Giselle straight says I'm wet when she killed Bambi, while in the Disney version, the international version, it was changed to it got me really excited, which I just have to question, why were these changes made? Because like I saw James tweet about this a little bit earlier on in the day before I watched the episode. I thought it might have something to do with like Giselle's gender. Maybe they changed up some of that stuff to be like more politically correct or something. I wasn't sure, but when I followed all this, I was like, why was this changed? Like, all this does is make Giselle a little bit less of a pervert, of a perverted freak. So, don't know why the change for that was made. Kind of bizarre change if you ask me, man. I do question on what happens when the dub of this episode airs. If they're gonna go with the Disney version of the lines with those, or maybe Casey who is Giselle's dub VA. Some might catch wind of this, man, and kind of fight to get the lines back to the original form for the dub release. Because you guys know Alex Lee. Who is the Netflix voice for Thorfinn, actually fought to get the line changed back to the whole because I have no enemies line, because apparently it was originally a different line in the script, but I guess he kind of knew of the memes and just the overall significance of that line, so he fought to get that line changed back to the original form for when he recorded the episode for the dub, which is awesome to see. It's always kind of cool when VAs are like in the know with the manga readers and in the know with the fan base, man, know the kind of lines and try to fight to see if we can get those in the dub release. Man, that's always cool when you hear stories about this, man. So I'm curious if something might happen like that with Casey, or if they're just gonna stick with the Disney lines for the dub release of this episode, man. Well, guess we'll find out when the dub episode is, but I thought that was kind of interesting, man. I'm always kind of fascinated by stuff like this when companies decide to change lines, change subtitles when they localize, man. I always kind of find this stuff kind of interesting and always kind of wonder why. What was the reason behind it, man? Interesting, but that was interesting nonetheless. But at least Giselle's Japanese got a little extra money having to re-record these lines, so there was at least one positive. She got her bread, man. She got her bread, man. Anyway, let's just jump right into the actual episode. So we start the episode off right where we left out last with Uryu and Ichigo meeting up for the first time as he realized that Uryu has joined up with the Quincy's. More or less, they just reused the footage here from the beginning part of the episode, which, as you guys know, this episode was delayed like a week because apparently there was some production issues. They aired a recap episode that was only available in Japan, where this episode would have been airing last week. Which I'm curious to know. I've heard there's been some production issues, so I'm curious if this is going to happen again, or from now on that'll be good for the rest of the season, man. The Naruto OVA has also got delayed as well, so saying that there's some issues going on with Period recently, but it is what it is, whatever. Anyway, so right after that way, we have this giant windstorm just appears out of the portal once Uryu and Yuha make it all the way up, make it up to the royal palace, wherever, and there's just a hole at least right to the royal palace. Wind starts blowing over Orihime, of course, goes to save Ichigo. We actually get to see Renji protecting Rukia, which is nice to see, man. As well as we see Shuhei getting out of the way, where we see some of the Quincy's trying to get out of the way from the massive windstorm. We return to Shunsui as he's wondering why they are just going to let him into the royal palace, wondering if this is a part of Manako Osho's plan. We then get back to Orihime and Ichigo and the crewmen, which, no lie guys, I am tempted to do a double reaction for this episode, not just because, of course, of Giselle and just hearing finally hearing Casey get to really spread his legs, or her legs, excuse me, legs out with Giselle. Seeing how she does with there, man, because this will be the first time she gets really, because Giselle up to this point has just been more or less, small cameo roles, not really a major part of any particular episode. But also just this scene as well with JYB and Stephanie, man. So good to hear him again, man. So good to hear him again. Anyway, back to the actual episode. So Orihime, wondering if everyone's okay. Ichigo is just kind of sitting there, just contemplating life. What happened if Zeke is one of his best friends, to betray, join the enemy, so to speak, man. Chad, of course, tells him that we're just shocked as everyone else. And Ichigo kind of has figured that this might have happened, given, it's a war between the Soul Reapers and the Quincy's, and, Uryu is a Quincy. So, there was obviously a good plan that he might have joined them anyway. So he says that we can't let him get away without him giving us a good explanation. And he says if he doesn't give him a good explanation, he'll just drag him. He'll beat him and drag him down here. And if he's good, he'll just slap him and bring him down here. So everyone is in agreement. This is when Urahara shows up and asks Ichigo if he shall book them a ticket to the royal palace. Then we start to see some of the other Soul Reapers and what the aftermath of them when they got out of outside that windstorm. We see Byaku using Senpo and Sakura along with some debris to cover him up to block the wind before he starts getting surrounded by various other Quincy's, including Candy, as well as Mustache Man. Which actually, have we actually got his name yet? I forget if we actually have gotten Mustache Man's full name yet. Actually, if he's gotten his own title. But it's good to see Candace. She bad, bro. You guys already know my opinions on Candace, bro. Hoping to get her on the new banner. If she was on the new banner. I don't know if she was on there as well as Bambi or was it just Bambi, but I'm going to try and see if I can get Bambi on the new banner in BBS, because Oh boy. Y'all know I love Bambi. Anyway, after that, we actually see that Kamamura is indeed very much alive and well. We see that he is able to move, well, not talk, but able to move like normal. So it seems like he is still very much alive. So he isn't really dead like we thought it was because Kubo posted the image of him, but he's more or less has like lost all his humanity and is just reverted back down to like this wolf. It seems like, man. So I guess technically he's dead, but not really. Anyway. We then see Rukia and Renji, where they are met by Bosby, and he asks if they're also pissed off at Uryu, and then Renji throws some debris at him and says, "Stop talking nonsense, chicken head." Yes, he calls Bosby a chicken head because, of course, of his hair, his mohawk representing, you know, a chicken, and. Bosby does not take well to this. He takes great offense to this, actually, of someone insulting his hair, man. I do wonder if maybe Kubo took some inspiration from Josuke, because I'm pretty sure actually part 4, the anime part 4 might have been aired while this was happening in the manga. So I don't know, maybe he was watching part 4 while they was writing chapters and not, and got inspired by Josuke in the way he would always get incredibly offended and triggered whenever someone would insult his pompadour when he was writing Bosby. But I don't know, I just thought Josuke whenever I saw this scene about Bosby getting pissed off about Renji insulting his hair, and so he's like, "Chicken? Did he just call me a chicken?" He's like, "Are you talking about this awesome razor sharp mohawk of mine?" And then Renji says, "What, man? Don't you like chickens? Chickens are cool." They wake up early, they lay eggs. They're cool, man. They're cool animals. And then I love this scene, but this scene was so fucking funny. Where then Bosby says, "I thought you would have taste because of those cool razor sharp eyebrows of yours." Yes, he compliments Renji's eyebrows, and Renji, bro. I swear, I feel like Reggie doesn't get that. Given his reaction to this, I feel like he doesn't get a lot of compliments, or at the very least about his eyebrows, man. And because he was actually like actively blushing, it says, "You're a really nice guy." As he's like has his hands by his eyebrows, while Rukia's just looking at him like, "Really, bro?" It says like, "Good for you." This whole scene cracked me up, man. So then you use Burning Finger 4, and then where we cut over to Giselle, which I already talked about, the line changes right here, man. But Ikaku and Yumachika have him, her, whatever the fuck, man. Like I said, it seems like I said I'm very confused on what the action with, if this character is trans or not. It seems like everyone can at the very least agree, and that Kubo has confirmed that he was at the very least biologically born a man. But besides that, it looks like everyone's just arguing with themselves whether or not Bambi's trans or not, or this and that, man. Which I'm not even getting into that, man. Whatever. So whatever the case may be, either way, you know, whatever is like, they're like, "Oh no, don't kill. You wouldn't kill an unarmed girl like myself." Doesn't that go against your code as a man? And this entire time, Ikaku and Yumachika just kind of looking at her like they're not just buying him. And then Yumachika starts to figure out the fact that she is trying to goad him into killing her, into like slashing her in the face off, means there's probably something about that's probably some dangers about getting sprayed with her blood. And then this is, of course, when we get to the whole that he sees through that he let me expose more of your monkeyness. That he sees through her genjutsu about, like, you know, you say you're another one, but you're actually a man and you reek of semen. That was the original line. Like I said, the Disney line it was, but I know you're trying to hide it, but it's so obvious, man. But I also gotta say, man, shout out to whoever was the key animator or key animators working on Giselle's facial expression, bro. Shout out to them because they went off with the key animation on her facial expression, man. Like right here when she's kind of like right after the shock, and then that like smirk she does, man. There's also another scene as well later on the episode which happens similarly, man. So yeah, the animators low key went off on Giselle's key animation with the facial expression, man. This is, of course, where we finally see Zombie Bambi! Yay! Yay! On the one hand, it's good to hear Bambi, but good God, bro, I'd be laughing since I wasn't fucking disgusted at what Giselle was doing to her throughout this episode, man. We'll get to that scene when we get there, man, but no lie, bro, I was disgusted and very pissed off while I was watching this. But yeah, she tells Bambi to let's crush these guys together. Before we head back with Ichigo and the others, as they're now inside Mayuri's lab, as he's preparing this new can that they prepared that's based very much off of the Shiba family's can, which we saw, of course, in the Soul Society art minutes how they got there in the first place. But it was kind of hard to exactly replicate him, and so as Urahara has explained this, man, Yoruichi, of course, makes finally makes her debut, man, which is great to see her finally in the Blood War anime, as she carrying these jars that fill with the distorted energy that the Quincy's have been creating since they have returned to the Soul Society, and of course they're infecting the world of living. They've collected all this to use this as more or less use this as the power source to fire off a cannon. Although, given how hard it was to replicate the Shiva family cannon, this one's going to break apart after just one use. So they're hoping to make sure that that doesn't happen, and that Mayuri had already foreseen this happening right when Squad Zero showed up. So he already started building this by the time that they already were there, and Urahara, is all he has to do is just add the final touches and of course actually fire the damn thing. This is when we return back with Bambi and Ikaku, and they're running away from Bambi's bombs, and they're trying to figure out what there is. And Yumachika starts to think that the projectiles themselves aren't the bombs. They only become bombs once they actually make contact. So Ikaku comes to the conclusion that the only way to cut her down is by to cut her down while dodging the projectiles. So he runs right up there, which you can actually, if you pay attention, we get a close up on his feet as he stops and slides the other direction. You can actually see he's not wearing the socks, the silver socks. He's going in there completely barefoot with just the sandals on, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if he always does this, or maybe they got destroyed throughout the battle and he just happened to keep his sandals on. But I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. He wasn't wearing socks. Anyway, man, he rushes up there to Bambi while Yumachika uses some Hado. It was like number 57, I believe it was, to create that, to have like a bunch of rubble coming up with him, and he uses them as like shields as well to bounce off them to get over to Bambi, and he manages to impale her right in her throat, but doesn't actually get to or rather stab her in the throat, but doesn't actually get to behead her or decapitate her at all. But then Bambi instantly goes over there and goes for another attack and point that basically has her hand right in front or right on the side of Ikaku's face. But right before she can fire it off, Yumachika comes in there and slices her arm up there where Giselle goes to retrieve it. And then of course, she reminds him that you can't kill her, that she is already dead. More attacks that send Ikaku and Yumachika flying as Giselle goes to meet them. And of course, this is what goes to mention. We got the other line change where, she's like, oh, it took so long it was so hard to turn Bambi into a zombie. I can't do it to Quincy unless they're dead. I had to squeeze the life out of her, which is a really nice line. I fucked with that line. Squeeze the life out of her, and it got me so excited. While in the original Japanese version, it made me wet. Which, like I said, I don't even know why you would change this one. This feels very pointless changes. Is like all it does is make her look a little bit less like a perverted freak, So I don't know what their reasoning behind this change was, but who knows. Regardless of such, man, either way, I was stuck there, and the voice acting here was phenomenal from Giselle's Japanese VA. So this is when she of course explains that that for Soul Reapers a lot easier. All I need to do is splash my blood on them. Who wants to become a zombie first? This is when Mayuri finally shows up, man, with this blinding light suit, and this whole exchange between Mayuri and Giselle was so good, man. Giselle says it's so bright I can barely see. Who are you? And of course Mayuri's like, oh well, aren't you an ignorant one? Don't you know that great people often appear to be shining? And also, Nemu was there as well, but she wasn't wearing, she was just wearing her normal Soul Reaper attire, wasn't rocking the light suit as well. And that's when we get the title card, man, which is no lie. I mean, I fucks with the title card for this episode, man, with like the purple they used for the March of the Zombies, with it kind of like dripping down. I fucks with the title for this episode, man, it looks really, really cool. So then we get back to Ikaku and Yumachika, where they too can't see what's going on, man, but they both suspect that it is indeed Mayuri, because he's the only one that would actively dress like this, man. So then Bambi appears before Giselle, and then we get to the scene that honestly, bro, just flat out disgusting. Like, I feel like the last time I got this pissed off or this disgusted while I was watching a particular scene in anime was no lie when I first saw SAO and I got to the rape scene with Austin, bro. Because you guys know me, I love Austin. Austin's best girl of all best girls. Bit of an Austin simp. That's kind of a thing on this channel. But yeah, bro, no lie. When I first saw that episode, man, bro, I was livid, bro. I was 2 seconds away from smacking my TV, bro. And it was very similar here, man. Not to the same levels of rage, because I'm not 16 anymore. But bro, I was sitting there, be like, just straight up, just disgusted, and watching Bambi, be like, oh, I wanted Giselle. I want her. Please, I can't help it. I'm just, bro, I am disgusted. Well, I don't know about y'all, bro, but like to any other Bambi fans watching this video, bro, please tell me in the comments, bro, you also just as disgusted as I was watching this scene of what Giselle had done to our girl. And so now, obviously, given how much she wants, like, oh, I can't help it, I want it so bad. and Giselle later says, after she slaps her and says that you'll get your treat after the job is done, I gotta ask, bro, what is this treat? Now, of course, given my, mind that has gotten corrupted due to the years of, hentai, anime fan service, and all that shit, man, and given, this show is an apparent thing with semen for a couple of these episodes, bro, my brain goes into one direction. But actually looking at the episode itself and the context of the show itself and then, not letting the dirty thoughts impede my train of thought, I'm thinking that more or less she's referring to to Giselle's blood, because that's what turns them into zombies is her blood. So maybe, and because, zombies, they love brains, they love, human flesh. So that's most likely what she's referring to. Either that or maybe just straight up eating her, just eating some of her flesh. That's what I think of that. I don't think it's like semen, which is that's where brain literally first went to when I was watching this scene, bro. That was literally all in my head, bro, when I was watching this scene. But then when I thought about it a little more, I'm pretty sure she was talking about like her blood or something. I don't know. Please leave in the comments, guys. I would love to know what you guys think this treat is, man. Please, I would love to hear your theories in the comments section down below. Anyway, Mayuri finally decides to tone down the shine, but he tones down his greatness. I cannot wait to hear this with the dub, man. I love Mayuri's dub voice, man. He's so awesome. Anyway, so they continue on. He calls Giselle ordinary and she says, I think you think I'm ordinary when you just said I was outstanding. Don't take it personal and compare me. Everyone is ordinary. This is when then she calls up Bambi and has her fire up some more attacks at Mayuri. So then they either eat the hits or Nell manages to get Mayuri out of the way. But as they're kind of flying or gliding away from Giselle, Mayuri realizes that the distance between each of the velocity balls is roughly the same and tells Nemu to repair it. And we actually get to hear Nemu speak. She says hi. Which isn't much, but hey, I'm pretty sure it's the first time she's actually ever spoken in the Blood War. I'm not sure, she might have had some dialogue in the first core, can't remember for sure, but she speaks finally, so. I'm curious to know if she'll get recast as well, because like I said, I don't know if Nemu had any spoken dialogue throughout the first core or not, but regardless, it was nice to finally hear her speak for once. I don't know why they're making why there's such massive gaps. I took 22 minutes first to finally hear Nemu speak, but whatever the case may be, she said as Nemu was kind of preparing these things, he says about 3 seconds she know how to do it, and then as Giselle and Babe are closing in, he grabs a briefcase, flies it over, and all these miniature mini bombs come out of there, man. They all suck up the reishi from Bambi's attacks, and after about 3 seconds, once Giselle and Bambi manage to get right in front of the bombs, they all start blowing up, and of course, which managed to take out Bambi for the time being. Mayuri explained that these are reishi locking devices, and they just activate them. That they halts the activity of the reishi that comes in contact with it. And it wasn't that they stopped. The effect of them was just paused for 3 seconds, and then afterwards, they fired off. So then this is when Giselle starts to raise the stakes a little bit. She's like, oh, okay, I may have lost Bambi, but I'm not done yet. And of course brings in her army of zombie soul reapers. And of course, Ikaku and Chika, they start to recognize some of these soul reapers as some of their fellow comrades. And then I fucking love Mayuri, man. Mayuri's like, oh man, man, these happen to be core members of the 13 Core Guard Squad. I am basically a big ball of love with a spinal cord attached to them. I just don't have the heart to fight them. Which I'm pretty sure was all bullshit. He'd probably strike all these guys down at a moment's notice. But he had his own plan, his own brand of zombies. Arankars, fan favorite Arankars. We have Nino Arankar. We have the Whip Arankar that was facing up against Uryu and Pesce, which that felt pretty good. Some random dude that I legit thought was a woman when I saw the dude's render on BBS. And then the black, very muscular, flamboyant Arankar. I have no idea what I don't even know half these characters' names, or I just forgot them, man. But no, it was pretty cool seeing the Nino Arankar, man. He was awesome when we saw him when he made an appearance against Ichigo at the start of the Wako Mundo arc. I am curious to know how many of these guys are going to get recast for the dub, or if all the original voice actors will be returning. I guess we'll find out in a couple weeks when this episode does air with the dub cast, man. But yeah, it was pretty cool to see them, man. It was nice to see them. Now, at first, I was kind of wondering, how the hell does Mayuri have his own brand of zombie Arankars? It is explained a little bit later that I think that he was able to get these through using Zanalopero's vault, which don't know exactly how that works and how that whole thing worked, but as you guys know, I haven't finished all of Bleach yet, so maybe later on in the series that kind of gets explained more, or maybe I just straight up forgot and I already passed that episode. But you know, whatever the case may be. Of course, Ikaku and Yumachika are shocked that these Iran cars are once again living again, even though they already killed them. And then, of course, the flamboyant one calls Yumachika fugly, which, of course, Yumachika takes great offense to, ready to take him down. Then they start to kind of argue amongst themselves about, you know, them being alive. And then the Nino one says, you know, be quiet. You know, yeah, we might be alive, but who knows what that madman when that madman will change his mind. And then he just shocks them all with like this bud. He says, who said that you could start yapping? Gotta love Mayuri, man. Gotta love Mayuri. So then the Iran cars start to go down to the battlefield, fight off against the zombie Soul Reapers. Of course, you got Yumachika and Ikaku saying, no, those them belong to Squad 11. And then Mayuri Mayuri chastises them about, like, you know, that this is very characteristic of Squad 11, of the 13 car guard squad. When did the 13 core guards will be gone so soft? And reminds them that a squad member shall die in the core guard squad. If one harms the core guard, one shall take one's own life. These are the words of the man that you respected, of course, referring to Yamamoto. So then we actually see the Iran cars fighting against the various Soul Reapers, man. Animation looks pretty good, man. It looks like most of the Soul Reapers were like the wider shots, they were done with CGI, but the CGI looked great on them as well. Also, gotta say, the music, I forgot to mention this earlier on, but the music of this episode, man, has been phenomenal. I love the music they had in this episode. So then we get back to Giselle as she's fixing up Bambi, reattaching her arm, and then the flamboyant Iran car goes to face off against Giselle, which I thought was a fitty matchup, given they're, I guess, kind of similar. Anyway, so she sticks Bambi onto her, and then on him, excuse me, and then he manages to just throw her back into a wall before Bambi comes right back, firing more attacks at him. Before then, he unleashes his special attack with a ridiculously long name, Beautiful Charlotte Chamelharn, Final Holy, Wonderful Pretty, Super Magnum, Sexy Glamorous Sarah Revived. If I even said half of that right, man, I don't know why this title, why his attack name is so freaking long. But then we end the episode off with Zombie Toshiro rocking some Quincy garb, man, which no lie, bro. Toshiro looks amazing in, bro. Like, I love they actually had a little bit of like a fur to like the touch of the collar of it. I was giving, you know, Toshiro's Zanpakuto is very much ice theme. Thought that was nice, bro. Like I said, bro, Bleach character just ripped the fuck out in general, but Toshiro, man, that man looks amazing in a Quincy uniform, I have to say. Which does make me wonder if we're gonna see his new form for those guys that, if you guys have played BBS or Jump Force, of course, read the manga or just know, you know, but I don't want to get into spoil. Don't want to say what it is, just in case it wasn't showing off in any of the PVs, which I don't think it was, but it might have. I'm not sure. But either way, I'm curious if we're going to see that form next week or not. But yeah, man, this was a phenomenal episode, man. Amazing voice acting, great animation, stellar key animation on Giselle. Like I mentioned before, the facial expressions on him were phenomenally done, man. And I also love that little moment. I forgot to mention this, where both Orihime each go do like this little head tilt while they're inside the pod, man. I thought that was nice like that. But yeah, man, just a phenomenal episode in general, man. Looking forward to hearing the dub episode of this with Casey, and yeah. Anyway, guys, overall, we give this episode a 9.5 out of 10, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on my socials if you feel like it. Links down below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time. Remember, fuck Giselle.